in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the MBK family. We got a lot to talk about today. Please excuse my voice. I'm not sure what is going on. It's been like this for about a week. I'm doing the best I can with it, but it does not seem to be getting better. The Knicks played Memphis at Memphis and lost 112-115 in OT. We're going to break it down offensively, defensively. We'll talk about Randle, who I was a bit surprised. I thought he would really struggle in the first game or the first part of the season. We'll talk about Cam, who had an amazing game for us. Some players who didn't play well, but spoiler alert, I'm not killing anybody today. It's the first game. A lot that we have to adjust to and get better at offensively and defensively. So let's get to it. Shout out to the chat. Knicks from Brazil, appreciate you. What time is it out there? Pudge Nice, appreciate you. Sean V, Kenny Payne, Andrew Kalatzil. I know I didn't get that right, Andrew. Yeah. I gotta put this. I gotta put this up. I think we playing ready. That's funny. Actually, this was a good test for us. And I thought we, I thought we did okay. Let's just set it up. Obviously, this was the first, game of the season for both teams. So the Knicks were 0-0, Memphis 0-0 coming into the game. Both of them started off first in their respective conferences, as did every other team in the NBA. For us, as far as starters, Brunson, Fournier, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson. And for them, John Morant, Concha, Bain, Aldama, and Adams. And I remember we were doing the pregame show on the Nothing But Knicks channel. If you don't already know, I'm a panelist there. I'm usually there for the pregame show. So check me out there. Check us out there if you don't already. And we were like, who are these guys? Dylan Brooks may not play. They're starting Concha. They're starting Aldama. Who are those guys? Well, we soon found out because they played, very well for them. So these are the individual stats. Quentin Grimes was out with the foot, ankle injury, whatever that is. Randle, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. He shot 56.3% from the field. Really handled the ball some, especially when, Brunson got into early foul trouble. And I thought it was fine. That was my concern coming into the season. Like, if Randle has to handle the ball, what is that going to look like? But I thought he made quick decisions. I thought he made good decisions. I thought he kept the ball, moving. There was times when he held the ball a little bit when he was in the post, but what did he do? He found the teammate for a good shot. So I was happy with Randle last night. We'll talk more about him. Cam Reddish off the bench, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, shot 60% from the field. He played amazing for us. Was he perfect? No. But a lot of the Knicks who played well weren't perfect. And a lot of the Knicks, those Knicks who didn't shoot well, contributed in other areas, right? We'll talk about Reddish more when we get to the player spotlight, but I thought he was awesome for us. And, hopefully he gained Tibbs trust. Hopefully he gained Tibbs trust, and when Grimes comes back, there's a real battle, or Grimes has to wait his turn. It's one game. Same thing for Randle. It's one game. Same thing for Barrett and Brunson, who played okay. It's just one game. So I'm not gonna, overreact either way. Hartenstein played 40 minutes last night. Mitch was in foul trouble. Mitch played 13 minutes, but I think there might have been times to kind of get Mitch back in the game a little bit, and it didn't happen. Tibbs was, I guess, liking what Hartenstein was doing, and so was I. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 7 of them were offensive, 4 assists, 1 block. The Knicks did not shoot well. The Knicks took 109 shots and hit 44 of them for 40%. They took 37 3-point shots and hit 9 for 24.3%. Right? So it was not a good shooting night for them, but it wasn't a good shooting night for Memphis as well. Jaren Jackson Jr. was out for them, their power forward / center. Morant, 34 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes. When he hitting the threes, it's going to be a good game for him. Aldama, the power forward / center who started in the place of Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 points, 11 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. And I believe he had a 3-pointer or 2, if I'm not mistaken. And Concha as well, who I'm not familiar with, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Those peripheral stats are very important when you talk about steals, blocks, assists. Memphis also didn't shoot well, took 108 shots, hit 42 of them for 39% basically, 53 pointers, hit 17 of them for 34%. So those were the individual players who shined last night. And there may have been more for both teams, but there's only room on the slide for 3, right? All right, let me just check in with the chat before I get into my observations offensively, defensively, and some other, observation. Kenya Smith, appreciate you rocking with me this morning. It is pretty early. We had a good run. Yeah, we were down. Yeah, we were down. And I felt like, is this gonna be it? We hung with them for a little bit. It doesn't look like it's good. We're gonna lose this game. And the Knicks fought back into that game and pushed it into overtime with the 3-point shot by Cam, which was a good look. If I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that pass came from Brunson, if I'm, not mistaken. Kenny Payne, Cam playing for his next contract. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks didn't extend him, but keep in mind, he's going to be a restricted free agent. So there's still motivation, to play well, so that when he does become a restricted free agent, he can get paid, but the first thing is to get the opportunity, right? He got the opportunity and he played very well. And I'm not crying for Grimes. That's how Grimes got his opportunity, right? When Rose got injured, that's how he got in there. Salute Walter White, appreciate you. Kareem Grant, appreciate you. Wow. Cam will be starting soon. Maybe. I mean, the thing for me is I'm not jumping off the ledge in this first game, at least, for those who played very well and for those who didn't play well. I want to see it, a few more games. However, if he can play like he did, it doesn't necessarily mean he has to score 20 points. But if he could play the way he did, just being active defensively, hitting a 3-point shot, bringing the ball down the court, looking comfortable on offense, yeah, we need somebody like Cam in that, starting lineup. Pudge Nice said Fournier is a cone defensively. Salute, Paris. IQ did not play well. I don't know if I'm going to go into bum territory, but he did not play well. The rookie killed us. Salute, Big Oso. I hope I said that right. Yes. Yes, he did. All right, let's get into my observations of the game. And listen, feel free to put your observations in the chat as well. I'm going to see things that you didn't see. You're going to see things that I didn't see. That's why it's called takes. Everybody have their different takes on the game. They see different things. They hone in um, on different things. Um, Let me start. I have the defense first. Excuse me, the offense first. But let me switch this up. Let me start with the defense. RJ started on Morant. I didn't quite understand that decision. Somebody help me in the chat if you have an inkling of why that was. And I get it. Brunson is not fleet of foot. And maybe he thought some size out there would bother Morant, or maybe it was, even if he does get into the lane, you know, we have a plan of what we're gonna do. I'm not sure what it was, but I didn't think it made much of a difference. Put it that way. I think if Brunson was on him, it probably would have been the same thing. He would have gotten into the lane. I mean, he's that good. Morant, 34 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes, as I mentioned earlier. He was just a load, difficult to handle for the Knicks. They did trap him at times, but it just wasn't to be. As far as you know, um, Morant was concerned. Mitch got in early foul trouble. Let me tell you, Adams is a load. And Mitch has problems with these stocky, you know, um, centers, or maybe it's just Adams because I saw, Mitch play relatively decent on Embiid, but Adams was just a beast down there, and Mitch really struggled with him, and so did iHeart. So did iHeart. He was in there battling with Adams, and what have you. But it looked like a street fight sometimes with iHeart and Adams. And iHeart Hartenstein also had 5 fouls, right? For the game. He had 8 rebounds, iHeart. Only one of them were defensive. And I get it. Those 7 offensive rebounds kind of kept us in the game because they were beasting on the offensive boards as well. But keep in mind, defensive rebounding is part of defense. You know, that's why they call it defensive rebounding. And we were out rebounded by 10 overall, and I believe we were out rebounded 8 defensively. Right? Randle had 11 rebounds. That was an issue in preseason as well, but I didn't put much stock in it because Randle didn't play. He's a good defensive rebounder for us, and he didn't play a lot of minutes. Mitch is not a great defensive rebounder for us, but he does get some defensive rebounds, and he didn't play much, in the preseason. So I didn't put much stock in it. We'll see. It's just something to keep an eye on. Like I said, I'm not going over the ledge for any individual stat, team stat, individual player in just one game. But um, just a little concerned about the rebound. Salute, Jerrell. I said the Mitch Adams matchup would be a problem. Adams might be the strongest dude in the league, and he throws it around. Like Embiid is big as well, but he doesn't play that bruising style of basketball. No doubt about it. He's a load in the post, right? But he'll go out to the mid post. He'll even, to the mid post. He'll even go out to the 3. Adams is right there in the key. You're gonna have to deal with him all night, and he was a load for, um, for both of us, for both of our centers. Our perimeter defensively, I thought it was, I don't know if I want to say it stunk, our defense, but I'm not gonna say it was great. It was somewhere in the middle. If I Maybe not that great. The defense just wasn't that great. The defense on Morant wasn't that great. The defensive rebounding wasn't that great. The perimeter defense wasn't that great. It just wasn't the Knicks' best game defensively. And Morant had a lot to do with it because listen, he's getting in the lane, you're collapsing defensively. He's getting, He's hitting the players on the wing, Aldama, Concha, whoever, Bain, who didn't shoot well, by the way. He's hitting them for open shots, relatively open shots, and there was a period. And when the 3-point shots for them was just raining, and that's when they were able to open up that lead on us. And I was like, wow. A lot of times when a team gets on a roll like that, shooting wise, everything they put up goes in. Anybody who the coach could have threw a shot, it goes in, when they get on that type of roll. But the Knicks, to their credit, was able to get themselves back into that game and force it to, overtime. Yeah, Tibbs is rocking with our heart heavy. I don't know if this is going to be the case going forward, but he played 40 minutes. I mean, that's a lot of time. Was all of that because Mitch was in foul trouble? Or was some of that he liked what he saw from iHeart? I'm gonna keep my my eye on that as well. So those are my defensive observation. Let me get to the offensive observation. I was pleased with the fact that the ball movement and the player movement for the most part continued, right? From preseason. That's something I'm keeping my eye on. Are we going to keep up this pace? Are we going to keep up this ball and player movement? And for the most part, I thought we did. We didn't shoot well, as I talked about earlier. I believe it was 40%. Yeah. We only made 9 3-pointers. Other than Cam, Randle, and Hartenstein, the rest of the team shot under, I believe it was under 40%. As far as the individual players were concerned offensively, I thought Randle played well in his 34 minutes, 5 minutes. Coming into the game, like I said, I was a little concerned about him. How is he going to fit with the offense when the lights go on? Is he still going to continue moving his body, moving the ball? Like, just what are we going to get from Randle once the regular season starts? It's just a 1-game sample size, but I like what I saw from him. Rebounding, his shot. He didn't shoot great from the three-point line, 33%, but it was enough to keep him honest. Barrett did not shoot well. He took 18 shots, he made 3 of them. He took 6 3-pointers, he didn't make any of them. But he did have, I believe it was 8 rebounds, 3 assists. It was just a bad shooting game from RJ Barrett. It wasn't a great defensive game from him either, but I'm not sure why he was put in that position anyway. And the other thing about Barrett is that 3-point shot in transition. I mean, this was a crucial, clutch part of the game. And he was on the left side, the left corner, and he just pulled up 4-3 in transition like he's been hitting his threes. I mean, I like the confidence. I mean, when you think about the really good shooters in the league, they have that confidence that I can miss 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row, and the next one is gonna go down. So I do like the confidence he had in that shot, but I gotta be honest, I didn't like that shot. And thankfully, it turned into some sort of loose ball, and Brunson was able to get it, and I think he passed it to iHeart, for a basket. So Barrett will be better. Trust and believe. RJ Barrett will be better. He will shoot better. He will defend better. He will continue to rebound. I'm not worried about RJ Barrett, but if this team is going to make the playoffs, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson are going to lead the way. Everything we get from everybody else is in support of that, and trust me, we need it. But those 3 guys are the guys that's going to have to lead us, into the playoffs if that's where we want to go. So again, I'm not going to overreact, but RJ Barrett needs to be better against Detroit Friday, and I believe he will. Tibbs still trusted him. He played over 37 minutes, so he's there's certain guys that if a coach trusts you. And if you're doing other things in the game, the coach will allow you to play through it. RJ Barrett is one of those guys. Randle is one of those guys. I thought IQ was one of those guys, but we will talk about um, that later. Cam, I'm gonna say for the next segment, the player spotlight. But I loved what I saw from Cam Reddish. Was he perfect? No, but neither was everybody else, right? Um, iHeart offensively. Listen, I'm an iHeart fan. I love the signing. The preseason was a bit up and down, but you can see the dimension that he is going to bring to our team. Is he foul prone? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But offensively, that he had that little floater going. They were looking for him. And remember, when you have the more players that can score, the more pressure you put on the defense because now they have to account for everybody. They can't rest. And the good thing about iHeart is not only did he have that little floater going, he didn't hit his threes. I believe he took 3 of them, I want to say. And I don't believe he hit any of them. Somebody correct me, if I'm wrong. But that floater was going and he could pass the ball. He had that nice pass to Obi, I believe it was in the first half. So he brings a different dimension to our team. You can hit him down, down low for a shot. Like when was the last time a center of ours had 16 points and it wasn't solely under the rim? And I'm not throwing any shade to Mitch. He does what he does and he does it well and we need it. But this extra dimension that iHeart brings, let's see if it continues. But his ability to pass the ball is out of that post position, out of that 5 position, is another dimension to the Knicks, offense. But he had difficulty with Adams as well. And he also had 5 fouls. So he wasn't perfect either. But I liked what I saw from iHeart. Let me see what the chat is saying. Pudge Nice, Hart really might be starting. I mean, it's one game. I don't think he's gonna start, but I don't think Tibbs will hesitate to put him in the game if we need offense. If Mitch is in foul trouble, if when he gets in there he's rolling and he's doing well, I don't think Tibbs will hesitate to go to him and stay with him. He closed the game. He closed the game. iHeart was excellent, but he could have used 5 less minutes with Sims getting those. I hear you, but Tibbs is not going over 10. And not many coaches do, in all fairness, play more than 10 plays. You might have some, but most coaches will play 9 to 10 players a game. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think they should have challenged the job block. No doubt about it. Pudge Nice believes that Mitch will get more touches if he comes off the bench. Perhaps. Sharice Duncan, going back to Randle, he's definitely our number 1 option. RJ was trying to force it too much. You know what, Sharice? In our offense, I don't really see a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 option. I think the Knicks share the ball. And if you're hitting your shots, you could be the leading scorer that night. I don't see the Knicks featuring Randle or featuring RJ or featuring Brunson. They just move the ball. And whoever has the open shot takes it. And if you're efficient that night, you're going to lead the league, in scoring. Barry took 18 shots. Had he hit half of those, hit his threes, he may have led the team in scoring. I mean, he was pretty good at the line. I believe he shot 80% from the line. So I just think on any given night is going to be Randle, RJ, Brunson leading us in scoring, depending on who who hit the who hits their shots. Let me see who else I want to touch on offensively. Fournier, 32 minutes, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 3-pointers. Didn't shoot well overall, 4 for 11 from the field. But that's what you want. For me, I like plays to fill the entire box score. and he did. These peripheral stats: 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, three threes. And I like the fact that he was also handling the ball. He got the rebound, or the ball was in his hands. He brought it up the court. And I think that's the new wrinkle, if you will, in the offense. Stop waiting around for one person. If you can dribble the ball and you got it, bring it up the court. We got to get the ball up the court as quick as possible, right? That's part of us increasing our pace, getting more possessions per game. The first thing you have to do is get the ball up the court quickly. You get the rebound. Now you got to look, you got to search for somebody, bring it up. Obviously, if you can hit ahead, that'll get the ball up faster. But I like the fact that Fournier looked more like himself, more like I remember him in Orlando, whereas last season he was trying to find his way and he seemed to be relegated to just a three-point shooter. I thought he was playing regular, putting the ball on the floor, passing, rebounding. He looked like Fournier. I'm not sure how, if he's going to get 32 minutes a game. I don't think so. But I liked what I saw from Fournier last night. Brunson, 15 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, didn't shoot well from the field. He looked a little regular to me in that first half. But the thing with Brunson is that the benefit of having him will not always show up in the box score. The charge on Morant, like that saved the game for us. The presence of mind, the willingness to step in and draw the charge, that tells me that even though he's not shooting well, he's still processing the game. He's still in the game. He's still engaged. That was huge for us. When RJ missed that 3 from the corner and he somehow got the ball and hit, iHeart, he just made some huge plays for us, despite the fact that he wasn't shooting well. And that's what Tibbs say. You can still play well even though you don't shoot well. And I agree. I'm all in on Brunson. I think he will shoot better. But other than that, I thought he played well. What are your thoughts on Brunson? He didn't shoot well. His first game, regular season game as a Knick. What are your thoughts on Brunson? Not much here on Brunson. Okay. RJ had 11 in crunch time. We needed him and he fell, and Cam saved the game for us. RJ had 11 points and he only had 13. So 11 of them came in crunch time. Wow. That's definitely something that I missed. Rose only played 12 minutes, which is what I think is appropriate for him. 12 to 14 minutes. That's it. Brunson played 36. When we did the preview show, we did the under and over on Brunson's minutes at 33. Somebody said under. I'm not sure, but over for sure. He played. Well, it was an overtime game as well, right? It was an overtime game as well. So maybe it would have been under. And he got into foul trouble. So he had to come out earlier than usual. But I still think he's going to average over 33 minutes a game. Rose had 12. In those 12 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. You can still be effective in limited minutes. Even if you're not scoring, get a deflection, play good defense, don't turn the ball over, get a rebound, get an assist, keep the offense moving, right? So he looked good, but keep it at 12 minutes, 12 to 14 minutes for Rose. Obi only played 13 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He had a good pass to iHeart. Like those little things when I'm watching Obi or when I'm watching anybody lets me know this player is in the game. They're processing the game. They're comfortable in the game, right? And he had a really good pass to iHeart. And then iHeart also had a good interior pass to Obi. I'm really looking forward to the relationship that develops between iHeart and Obi. Both of them are pretty good passers, pretty, good vision. Obi's always had that, in college, but He's getting comfortable enough. The game is slowing down for him enough that, and he's present enough to make passes, like that. The thing with Obi Toppin now is, in terms of his quest to get more minutes, is a big part of the call for him to play over Randle was because he was different than Randle, right? He kept the ball moving, but now the entire team is moving the ball, right? He would get out and transition, and he still does, but now the entire team is playing faster and getting out and transition. So I no longer think that's the path for Obi to get more minutes. Him moving the ball, we're doing that. Him leaking out in transition, we're getting transition baskets now. I think the key to Obi getting more minutes is his defense, which has improved, and the rebounding and hitting the three-point shot, right? That, I think, is going to get him more minutes in his offense. Again, I'm not jumping off the ledge um, because Obi got 13 minutes. Um, he played okay. It's just too early. We need a larger sample size for all of these players. IQ 17 minutes, took 6 shots, didn't hit any of them. He did have 3 rebounds. He was the first guard off the bench when Brunson got into foul trouble. And I thought he played under control. I mean, he was in there with that first unit, and that changes things, right? It's hard to go nuts when you're in there with the first unit. But I thought he ran the offense well. He was settled, in his first stint in the game. But only 17 minutes. You know, there was an opportunity to go back to IQ, for him to play more minutes, and he didn't. Is that a sign of things to come? It's really early, it's one game. We shall see. Paris Duggar believes that Obi and Quickly are playing scared and passive. Sharice and Pudge Nice, I'm not gonna, they're not too happy with IQ, and Sharice is not that happy with Obi as well. Yeah, yeah. I think East Blue Drew, Brunson's defense needs to get better if he wants to lead us. I think he's gonna lead us whether his defense improves or not. And trust me, Morant is a load for anybody, right? Um, I just think he's gonna be in the game regardless. And I think we talk about team defense, and the team defense will gel, and the team defense will get, the team defense can be, you can have one person in the offense, in the defense, who's not a good defender, and the team defense still gel and kind of cover that play out. Once you have 2 and 3 and 4 players who are not good defenders, who can't defend the perimeter, then forget talking about the team defense. The team defense is made up of individual defenders. You can have one, maybe 2 weak links, but it can't be 3 or 4. The Knicks have to get better defensively. Paris Duggar thought that D Rose should have been in for RJ and OT. Tibbs trusts RJ, and again, RJ was rebounding for us as well. Remember, we got out rebounded in this game by 10, including on the defensive boards as well. So he was rebounding. He had 8 rebounds. Tibbs trusts him. RJ is going to be in the game down the stretch, but I wouldn't have mind, Rose being in the game. Yeah, I don't think I missed anybody. Again, we're gonna talk about Cam in the next segment. I think my other observation is that I think Tibbs knows that the bench is not great yet, and there's more of a mix between bench players with starters. And then when there's 5 bench players in, bringing like a starter in to play with them for a few minutes, before bringing the other one. And he did that last season as well, but I see it more now. More of a mix between that first and second team, and I like it. When Brunson was on the bench in foul trouble, IQ came in. Like I said, he ran the team well for those few possessions that he was in. But at one point in the game when Brunson was out, it was Randle facilitating the offense, and I thought he did okay. I thought he did okay. So those are my observations offensively, defensively, miscellaneous observation. Let's get into the player spotlight and let's talk about Cam Reddish, who in 28 minutes had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. And those peripheral stats, where you're not just scoring, you're getting rebounds, you're getting steals, you're getting blocks. He shot 60% from the field. He shot 50% from the three-point line. He only went to the line once or twice, and he hit him. I thought he played very well. He seemed to be more comfortable in the offense. That three-point shot is a little flat, need a little more air underneath it. But, he played magnificent for us. And we need him. I mean, who's scoring for us on the bench? Rose? How much are you going to get from Rose? IQ? Yes, IQ could score. We don't need him to get too happy. Obi, somebody has to pretty much create, for Obi. iHeart, can score. Somebody like Cam coming off the bench for us, what he can do offensively, how long he is, what he can do defensively. When we think about Cam, this is what we thought, but it just wasn't happening, right? And it happened last night. Now let's see. He closed the game as well. Tibbs could have went small. He could have went back to IQ. He could have went back to Rose or went to Rose. He liked what he saw in Cam, and Cam finished the game, and he played well. He hit the three-pointer that tied the game and put the game into overtime. Obviously it was 3 seconds left. Memphis didn't score, and I believe that was the play in which Brunson took the charge. Otherwise, they would have scored because that basket went in. But he hit the three-pointer to tie the game. He didn't hesitate. I was really happy from what I saw from Cam. And for all of our players, let's see if it continues. For those who played bad, let's see what happens the next few games. For those who played well, let's see what happens the next few games. But I was encouraged by what I saw from Cam Reddish. And if he continues to play like that, I think he'll continue to stay in the lineup. I think when Grimes comes back, if it was up to me, Grimes has to find his way. He has to find his way back into the lineup. Injuries happen. That's how, I mentioned this earlier. That's how Grimes got into the lineup, off of an injury, right? So if Cam continues to play like that, hopefully he will continue to stay in the lineup. Thomas Banks, Cam earned more minutes even when Grimes gets back. We shall see. It's one game. It's one game, but if he continues to play like this, yeah, I definitely agree. Andrew, Jalen Brunson taking the charge by Ja was my favorite play. That, you don't have to shoot well to play well. That play gave us an opportunity to win in overtime, right? That play by the three-point shot by Cam, that charge by Brunson gave us the opportunity to play in overtime. And Jeffrey Clafter, appreciate you for rocking with me this morning. Grimes can take IQ's spot. Yeah, I mean, up to this point, IQ has been Tibbs, one of his darlings, so to speak, who got time, whether he was shooting well or not, whether he was playing well or not, he was in there. Maybe that was because there weren't other options. Now you got Grimes. Now you got Cam. Maybe IQ's leash won't be as long as it was last season. We shall see. Yes, Pudge Night. Great play by JB. That dunk by Cam, starting small forward. We'll see. We'll see. If this is Cam every night, he should start. But as we've seen with Mitch, with Randle, with all of our players, a good game doesn't mean it's going to continue, right? But if it does, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Um, Stafford Don, exactly one game for Randle as well. So we shall see. Grimes, Cam, Obi, iHeart, Rose. I like that. I could get with that too. You got Grimes, a healthy Grimes on one wing, Cam on the other, Obi and iHeart, and that little developing connection that I see between those two, it does make. What are the chances that IQ could become situational? That's hard for me to see. That's hard for me to envision, but we might be better. But again, a lot of that depends on when is Grimes coming back and how is he going to look? Is this going to continue with Cam? But I East Blue Drew, I like that. I like that. Um yeah, I talked about this early. Geoff, did I say Jeffrey? I'm sorry. Geoff Clafter. Evan didn't play poorly last night. No, he didn't. I liked what I saw in Evan. And if this might mean that Tibbs is rocking with the hot hand. Let's see how that goes for the rest of the season. Cam was the hot hand. He closed the game. iHeart, he liked what he saw in with iHeart. iHeart played 40 minutes. IQ usually closed games for us. He didn't. So let's see. Let's see what happens as far as that's concerned. But I'm very, very, very encouraged by what I saw from Cam Reddish. And even those who are not in the Cam hive, you got to be encouraged by what you saw. This guy can definitely help us if he continues to play the way he does. Now, he doesn't always have to score 22 points. You could play well and not shoot well. So let's see. I need Rose for IQ. Cam played like T-Mac. Whew. Whew. Yeah. And Louisiana Knicks agrees. Let me see if I could. Is that coming up? Cam played like Melo. I knew Cam was going to expose RJ's game. Really? I don't see the connection. I don't see the connection there. And Louisiana Knicks agrees that Cam did just like T-Mac tonight. All right. I mean, if by that you mean that he contributed, all over in multiple statistical categories, then I would agree. But T-Mac was that dude. You could go to T-Mac if you needed a bucket. I'm not sure we're there. I know we're not there yet with Cam. But in his role, he balled out. And I think that's for every Knick. Be an all-star, superstar, ball out in your role. Whatever it is, shine bright in your role. And that's what Cam did in his role last night. So let's see. We play Detroit tomorrow at Madison Square Garden, first home game. Let's see. All right. Let's move on here. The team stats. The Knicks scored 112 points. That's something I'm I'm keeping my eye on for the Knicks. Them scoring the basketball, 112 points. We were out rebounded 60. Wow, is that right? I don't think that was right. I think the rebounds was 50. I don't think it was 64 to 79. Sometimes the team stats on NBA.com is not I don't think it was that. I think the Knicks were out rebounded by 10. I want to say it was 54-64. The Knicks had 28 assists, moving the ball. Last year, 28 assists at least got you in the top half in the league, right? I definitely want to see that continues. It means we're sharing the ball. And obviously, you have to hit shots. 7 steals, 5 blocks, only 12 turnovers. Again, wasn't a good shooting night. 40% from the field, 24% from three-point line, 83% from the free throw line. You know, if you remember last season, down the stretch, we didn't shoot our free throws well. Throughout the game, we didn't shoot our free throws well. I think we were like 73, 74%. Last night, we were 83%. You know, RJ, who didn't have a good shooting night, shot 80%, over 80% from the free throw line, right? That's going to bode well for us. You're going to get fouled. You're going to get fouled in the clutch. The clutch is the last 5 minutes of the game where you're either up by 5 or down by 5. You got to hit your free throws. Points in the paint. Knicks was killing it. 68 points in the paint. And the Memphis Grizzlies, they have 48. They're one of the top teams, at least last season, in terms of points in the paint. Well, I don't know if they were the top team, but Ja is one of the players who gets the majority of most of his points in the paint. And the Knicks, plus 20 points in the paint. Second chance point, 19 in there, 20 fast break points, 19. Last season, 19 fast break points would put you number 1 in the NBA. Right? So I'm keeping an eye on the points. I'm keeping an eye on our free throw shooting. I'm keeping an eye on our fast break points as well. Anytime you can get easy baskets in transition, it just helps you out. You know, having to score possession in and possession out against a set defense, it's hard. You're making it harder for yourself. You can get some easy baskets. It helps. 19 points. Jerrell, I agree. RJ will be fine. Yes, RJ will be fine. Ashley Inc. 1 from the left coast, California. I know I'm killing you with an 8 a.m. show, but I appreciate you being up 5 a.m. rocking with me. You're correct. It was 64 to 54 rebounds. Yeah, I thought so. Shout out to Quiet Money. I miss you. Appreciate you being in here. Cam was always more talented than RJ, but for whatever reason, he's just not able to have any sustained success. And that is the word of the day, Nick family. Sustained. And that's not just for him. What we saw for Randle last night, will that be sustained? Can he sustain that? Player movement, ball movement, making good decisions with the ball. Will he sustain that? We shall see. Let me see. Queen, he got paid 140. RJ deserves the backlash, first game or not. Yeah, shotgunner. Yeah, I hear you. It was 107 though. It was 107, 4 years, 107 million guaranteed. If he makes the All-Star team during the course of the contract, if he makes, I think, an All NBA team and or All Defensive team. Otherwise, there's incentives in his contract that could bring it up to 120. But it's 4 years, 107 million, right? Knicks Nation 112, appreciate you. If we had Grimes, Cam, and RJ on defense last night, the game might look different. You're right. I want to give them time. So Cam to become, I don't get that part. Once Cam become a Tibbet. Oh, are you saying like in the Tibbs hive or in Tibbs circle of trust? Is that what you mean? So Cam becomes a Tibbet. Once Cam becomes a Tibbet, we will see a more rounded Cam on the D. I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but that's what I'm getting from it. Just somebody that Tibbs trusts. And this is the thing. You want to get on the floor? Tibbs has to trust you. A lot of times we're looking at stats. The bottom line is Tibbs controls who plays and doesn't play. And he goes with the guys that he trusts. And I'm hoping that this game, and plus whatever, Cam is doing in practice, right? I mean, Tibbs is with these guys day in and day out. He knows what Cam can do, but no matter what you do in practice, you have to do it in the game. And last night he did it in the game. Let's see if that gets him more time. El Servi, I hope I said that right, or Servi, replace Brunson with Ja, and we are contending. Ja is a difference maker. He is. We just don't have that guy. So we have to, that one guy. So we have to rely on the entire team to be stars in their particular role. Know your role, know what's expected of you. And when you get in the game, do that to a T. All right. We almost out of here. Let's set up the next game. Next game is Detroit Friday at MSG. The Knicks' current record is 0-1. Detroit beat Orlando, so they're 1-0. So it'll be the second game for both teams Friday night. All of this stuff is premature. Conference standings, 13th, 4. It's one game. But I'm putting it in here just so I can get used to the flow as well. We haven't played them. So our record against them this season is 0-0. We haven't played them. Offensive rating, defensive rating, again, one game. It's premature. But after one game, the Knicks are 14th for those who've played so far. And defensive rating is 10. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of stock in offensive and defensive rating at this point in the game. You need a larger sample size. When we get around the 10th game, it'll start rounding into shape, the type of defensive and offensive team that we have compared to the rest of the league. So I'm not going to put a lot into that. Let's get a quick peek at their roster before we get out of here. Against Orlando, they started Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivory at the guard, Sadiq Bey and Bogdanovich at the forwards, and Isaiah Stewart at the center position. Off the bench was Hayes, Joseph, Doran, Knox, and Diallo. Doran might be pushing for more minutes. I think he had either 13 points or 10 rebounds. Anyway, he had a double-double and 3 blocks in like 20 some odd minutes. It was against Orlando. He's a rookie. He's going to have his growing pains as most rookies do, right? But he looked good last night. I'm not going to take this team lightly, but if we do what we can do and these players play their particular role to a T, the Knicks should win this game at Madison Square Garden. I'll be there. The Nothing But Knicks NBK fam will be in the building. We'll be at Legends for the pregame show. My voice, I'm struggling this week as far as my voice and my nose, so bear with me. We're doing Nothing But Knicks. We're doing the pregame live from Legends in New York City. We're going to come back after, then we're going to go to the game. We all have tickets to the game. We're going to go to the game, and then we're going to come back to Legends after the game. And we're going to do a live post-game show. Those who want to join us, even if you're not going to go to the game, you can have a watch party there. We have our own separate room section. The food is good. They have multiple TV. It's a sports bar place, and it's a nice one as well. So you could be part of the live podcast, stay there, watch the game. Then we'll be back, and you could be part of the live post-game show as well. Let me just check in with the chat before we get out of here. Shotgunner Queen, I trust people to be who they are, not who I want them to be. One of the biggest mistakes we do as humans. You're absolutely right. And as basketball players as well. Knicks Nation 112. Tibbs mentioned Grimes played point guard in high school and college. Tibbs plan on playing Grimes at the lead guard. Wow. If at times you have Grimes at the 1, Cam and RJ on the wings, our defense would be killer good. Yeah. I agree with that. 5 years in the league, Queen. Come on, who are you referring to? Is that Cam? Angel Torres. What I liked from last night is that they showed me we can battle with any team. Yeah, Memphis is a good team. And they had players out, but that's the thing, when you have a player like Ja, you always in the game. You just, because they can do so much with the ball in their hands. Um, Thomas Banks, I agree. RJ was getting any shot he wanted. He was pressing only the first game. I mean, I don't know if he was pressing. Maybe he was, but he just missed shots. It happens. It happens to the best of them. The key is, how does he bounce back? And there's no doubt in my mind, RJ Barrett will bounce back against Detroit. Now, people will say if he does, oh, it's only Detroit. Trust me, in these first 10 games, there will be enough test for these Knicks overall and individual Knicks. We're going to know who we are as a team. Well, we'll have a sense of who we are as a team, at least the early part of our development after 10 games, right? And we'll have a better sense of the individual players as well after 10 games. Appreciate you rocking with me. I used to do the post games with MBK, but I'm getting old. I can't stay up that late. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a morning show and give my takes on the game. I appreciate you guys. Old head, Nick showed fight and made it a game, and we didn't shoot well. Yes, I am encouraged by that. That was a good point. Darren or Deron Brown, hope I said that right. Hartenstein was a difference maker. I like Hartenstein. I just like him. I just like what he brings. And I'm not saying over Mitch. Both of them. Having two centers that bring something different helps us. So I like that we have that versatility at the center position. When was the last time we had that? We needed that. I like Sims, but Sims and Mitch bring the same thing. Hartenstein brings something different in terms of his scoring and his playmaking. And I liked it. Let me see what else. Quiet Money sounding the alarm bell so early. Stephanie, I'm actually worried about RJ. Remember how the league adjusted to Randle? What if they now adjusted to RJ? I mean, the scouting report is out on him, but again, he got open shots. He just missed them. If you there was one part in the game, Ja was mic'd up for the game. Let me see if I have the exact quote. Ja was mic'd up for the game. And he said to one of his teammates, do I have it here? Yeah, he said to one of his teammates, you got Barrett under left hand. In other words, go under the screen because they don't believe in his shooting yet, and sit on that left hand because he likes to go left. But I mean, okay. Right-handed players like to go right. But I guess it was just a reminder that he's left-handed. Be aware of that and go under the screens. So I think the league knows RJ by this point, what his weaknesses were coming into this season. And they're going to go under screens and they're going to give him those shots until he proves he can hit them. Once he starts hitting them, the rest of the league, is going to have to adjust. But until that time, you're right, but he got good looks. Some of them I thought were contested shots. That 3 in a corner, air ball, whatever it was a contested shot. Like I didn't get that shot. But I'm not going to kill him. He got open shots. He missed them. He got to the rim. It just wasn't falling last night, but he was still able to get to the rim. It's just a matter of finishing. He was able to get open 3-point looks. He just has to finish them. I'm not panicking with RJ Barrett, and I'm not even concerned just yet. 20 games, but we'll have a better sense after 10 because it's a tough 10 games for the Knicks. So we shall see. Yeah, Paris Duggar wants RJ to pass the ball more, stop the 1-on-4 fast break. But listen, he did that last season. and usually when he's bringing the ball down the court, he finishes better than when he's and goes to the rim. He finishes better than when he initiates in the half court and goes to the rim. So I don't have a problem with it. Salute JJ. Appreciate you. I agree. We need, let me see if I can get to that. We need Cam scoring in the second unit. Yes, we can. Can't have RJ not finishing at the rim again consistently like last season. I agree. I think he's gonna get better. Shot legacy, no Randle, no chance. Fans better get over themselves quick. I mean, those three guys. I don't know if it's just Randle, but you're right. If Randle isn't playing well, now it's on RJ and Brunson. Now it's just on two guys. That's a lot. We're not a top-heavy team where we have a star, right? Those three guys have to go through. But then again, if, say, RJ doesn't have a good season, do you think Randle and Brunson can do it? And when I say do it, I mean lead the team. Obviously, we're going to need everybody. We're going to need our bench to play well. We're going to need Mitch to do what he does. No doubt about it. But I'm talking about in terms of leading the team. I think we need all three of those guys. And Randle is one of them. So, but what I will agree, Shot Legacy, is those of us, the fan base, who thought that Randle is not going to be a big part of this team. It's going to be RJ's team now. We don't need him. No. You looking at this team, you looking at this Eastern Conference, we need everybody. And that includes Randle, right? So Randle, RJ, Brunson, that's the head of the snake, in my opinion. Three-headed snake. We need all three of them guys. Kevin Went, Mitch is good. He was just in major foul trouble last night. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm not worried about RJ. I'm not worried about Mitch. But it just goes to show how you could play so well in preseason, and the regular season is just a different animal. It's just a different animal. And so for those in the preseason who kept saying it's only preseason, I think we get it now. It's just a different animal. And then when you get to the playoffs, that's just another level. So let's see. All good, Queen. This is a good way to get my morning going out here in Diego. Soul Finger on the left coast too, on the west coast. All right. Appreciate you. I give it to you guys. It's 5 o'clock. What is it now over there? Now it's 6 o'clock. All right. I think okay. I think that's it. I didn't get to everybody's comment. Hector Gaslin, Pudge Nice, JJ Shotgunner, El Servi, Shaw Legacy, Soulfinger 12, Geoff Clafter, Ashley Inc. 1, Parish Duggar, Knicks Nation 112, Angel Torres, Brian Wilford, Bayside Jr., I appreciate you, and I agree. Knicks can build off this game. I'm so interested to see what happens when Grimes is healthy, because he is playing, and Cam, if he keeps this up, is playing. To me, this is good, a good problem for the coaching staff. To have Thomas Banks, appreciate you. Jerrell, appreciate you. Shotgun, I might have shouted you out already, but twice is fine. All right, East Blue, Drew. I think I got everybody. Tim Little, Hector Gadsden, Knicks Brazil. All right, I think I got everybody. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry. I'll be back here Saturday morning. The Knicks play Friday night. Yeah, I'll be back Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to it's going to be a late night for me because we're doing the post-game live on location, and I got to come back and set up the show, but I'm going to still shoot for 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Appreciate you, fam. See you next time.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now, pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, New York. Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.